on the 7th, and then the last is the 21st. The workshops are breath work is next, and Debbie's husband, Nick, will be teaching that. And then the last one is meditation for beginner or experienced meditators. I believe Ruby is teaching that one here. Yes. So if you want to have any questions about what will be happening that day, you can ask Ruby. Those workshops are each $40. And I think those are the most important things we've got. So let's get started. Come on up, Connor. Come on in. Let's start in child's pose. Get settled in child's pose with your hips settled back toward your heels, arms forward, forehead to the mat. You know that part. And that what there is to do here is to set your breath, your Ujjayi breath, not the breath you walked into the room with. Certainly going to take some focus and energy to bring this breath into your practice, but it is the pathway to the potential transformation that the class offers. Many of you know the yes, no cards on the floor at the front of your mat refer to hands on assists. If I don't see one near you, I'll put one down with the no facing up, and it's for you to switch throughout class as you would like. Now, while you're here getting yourself integrated and ready for the practice, you know in a few moments we will set an intention for this practice. Right now, start to contemplate what you would like to draw toward you as you are practicing this morning. The practice will happen whether you have an intention or not, but with an intention, you may be able to get much more specific about the results you're looking for and therefore receive those results. Vagueness brings vague results. Specificity brings specific results. On your next inhale, bring yourself up into a tabletop position. Hands on the floor under your shoulders, knees underneath of your hips. Set your gaze right underneath of your eyes, directly on the floor beneath. Then bring your attention first to your hands. Spread your fingers out wide, squeeze the floor with your fingertips, and roll the weight into the thumb side of your hand. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, just press into the mat, making your whole arm from shoulder to fingertips energized. Keep that. These are your handstand arms. Breathe. We'll bring attention just to the upper back, the space between the shoulder blades. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, just start letting your chest melt down through your arm bones toward the floor. It's not a cat and cow stretch. It's just the upper back. Keep on breathing, making deeper and deeper space between your shoulder blades. While you're letting this space just sink between your shoulder blades, many of you will want to take notice of this, that while you're letting your thoracic spine sink, keeping your hands active with the mat, yeah, that's it, Laura, straight arms though. You probably notice that there's some action in the pit of your belly while you press your hands into the ground. Bring a little bit more action to the pit of your belly. Fill up, lift this pit of the belly right there. That's a long flat back. Many of you could bring just a little more action to the pit of your belly while you sink your thoracic spine. One more breath here. And now next time when you exhale, press your hands more. Let your upper back rise up between your arm bones toward the ceiling. You'll find your upper back's getting this hollowed, rounded. Think about this, like when a cobra snake gets agitated and it flares its hood, think about your upper back that way. Keep on breathing. While you're breathing and holding your upper back elevated between your arm bones this way, notice the action in the pit of your belly to keep your back long and flat. Now, between your inhales and your exhales, you choose which goes with which movement. Let your chest sink down between your arm bones and then press it back up. So back and forth, not a cat and cow stretch, just an isolated movement in your upper back. So maybe when you inhale, you're going to do the sinking down. And then when you exhale, you'll press the handstand hands and the arms into the floor and lift your upper back. Go back and forth 3 more times. Your eyes just stay on that one drishti point they've been on from the very beginning here. Just movement in your upper back. Finish the cycle that you're on and return to the tabletop. Once you get to the tabletop, eyes still fixed, breath still steady, turn your toes under behind you. Strong pit of the belly, take a breath in. And as you exhale, press the floor and just let your knees come up and hover as long as you can. Eyes on one spot, you breathe. If you feel like your tail is popping up and your belly hanging, press again with your hands. Pull the pit of your belly in. We want a little more of that cat stretch feeling than the cow stretch, but we're really looking for a neutral spine. One more breath. Knees to the floor. Walk your hands forward. Stretch your hips back into a puppy pose and breathe. How'd that go that first time? We're going to use that movement again and again, so we're looking for it not to be held from the lower back. Come back up to your tabletop, hands under your shoulders, stability through your upper back. Pull the pit of your belly in. That's the area at the front of your pelvis, not your belly button. Take a breath, turn your toes under, exhale, let your knees hover up off of the mat. You can stay here stationary and hovering, or you can add a little to it. Tap your right foot off the mat to the right and bring it back in. Notice how your pit of the belly has to work to allow this movement of the tapping side to side. Tap one more time each side. Get complete. Knees to the ground. Take the next puppy pose. In this puppy pose, really stretch your hands forward. All 10 fingertips, if there are 10 on your hands, squeeze them to the ground and drag your hips back. Breathe and feel the stretch from your fingertips through your armpits, through each one of your ribs to the creases of your hips. One more breath here. Feel your rib cage expand and soften. Back to give it a good hard push. Back to the tabletop. It needs a good hard push on the paddle. Back to the tabletop. Turn your toes under, lift your knees up. And then here we go. Stay here and hover. Do the toe taps or across the other foot. Tap and back. What we don't want to have happen is that your belly hangs and you have a sway in your lower back. We want the long, flat back. Tap and bring it back. 2 more times. Light tap. Try not to crash land. Knees on the floor. Hands on the ground. Stretch to the puppy pose. Elbows on the mat. Clap your palms. Bring your thumbs to the nape of your neck. And stretch your hips up and back. You got it right there. Thanks for getting that door. Take a deep breath in and a sigh. Let your thoracic spine, the area between your shoulder blades, just melt down through your arm bones to the mat with this last sigh. Hands to the floor, tabletop position. When you inhale, reach your right arm up. Look up to your fingertips, over to the side. Stretch up, look up. Weave your hand under your arms. Shoulder to the mat, stretch your neck, rest your ear. That's it, Jen. You can interlace your left hand inside of your right hand if you would like, and just drag your right arm a little bit longer away from you to the side of the room. If you want to add your left leg out to the side as well, near your fingers, foot flexed, sole of the foot on the floor, you can do that too. While you hold this pose, take another breath in. When you exhale, gather the pit of your belly in and let your whole back lengthen. You might feel a little more stretch in your back right ribs. Take another breath and just feel what you feel. When you're complete, return to the tabletop. Left arm up. Weave the arm under your right arm. Shoulder on the mat. Stretch your neck. Rest your ear to the mat. Now this time, let's try it right from the beginning of the hold. Breath in. And as you exhale, low pit of the belly in. Fill up your lower back. See how that changes the stretch along your left back body. Interlace your hands if you'd like. Add the foot to the side if you would like. And breathe here. Luckily, you can rest your ear on the ground and make it more comfortable. So Ruby and everybody, just draw your hips up and back. From the crease of your left hip, all the way down your left ribs to your left armpit. Let that side of your body be very long. One more breath. Maybe use a sigh. Whole body let go. And then come into your tabletop. Turn your toes under, lift your hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Once you get there, deep breath in. Open up your mouth. Have a sigh. You got it. Inhale, tippy toe as high as you can. Exhale, bend your knees, hover them down at ankle height. Inhale, lift your hips up high. Exhale, press your heels deep toward the mat. 2 more times. Inhale, lift. Exhale, bend your knees and hover. Inhale, lift your hips up high. Exhale, press your heels down. 1 more time. Inhale, tippy toe. Exhale, bend your knees, hover. More pit of the belly lifting. That's it. Inhale, lift your hips up high and press your heels down. Look forward and step to the front of your mat. When you get there, lift halfway. Hang in ragdoll. Little different than the forward fold. Body from the side, looking like an upside down letter U. Warm up the surface of the back of your body from your heels all the way up the backs of your legs, across the back of your pelvis, down the length of your spine, through your neck, through your scalp, all the way around and through to your eyebrows. Invite in a warming. 1 more breath here. As you exhale, press your heels into the mat. Come rolling up to standing. 1 bone lifting and stacking at a time, then arms overhead. Reach up, look up, stretch. Bring your hands to rest in prayer position at the center of your chest. Set your gaze on 1 still point in the room. Now choose your intention for your practice. What will you be creating? Be specific. Maybe your intentions typically sound like, I will discover my practice. Today you could add, I'll discover my practice by concentrating on my breath, for example. 3 times let's chant Om to begin the practice together. Deep breath in. Inhale, reach up, lift up, look up, fold to the floor as you exhale. Inhale, lift halfway, high plank to low plank as you exhale. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. 3 breaths together. Breathe in and a long breath out. 2 more. Inhale and exhale. Last time, deep breath in. On the exhale, bend your knees, look forward, step or jump to your hands. Lift halfway and fold. Let's do it again. Stand up, reach as high as you can, stretch back, fold to the floor as you empty. Halfway lift, step or drop to the low plank. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. As you breathe here, let your hands melt into the mat. The thumb, the pointer finger, knuckle, all of your fingertips melt into the mat. And then you drag your hips up and back out of your hands. Let's do 1 more breath. On the exhale, bend your knees and jump up to your hands. Halfway lift, forward fold. Press your heels into the ground, stand up, extended mountain pose, look up, fold to the floor as you exhale. Inhale, lift halfway, stretch long, then drop to your low plank. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. 3 breaths this time. Inhale and exhale. Fingertips to hips as you breathe, you stretch. Last one, deep breath in. Get ready to move, whatever that looks like, then jump. Halfway lift, forward fold. Inhale and stand. Stretch as high as you can, then go back, fold to the floor and empty. Halfway lift, low plank. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. As you breathe here and you're stretching fingertips to hips, feel the expansion in your back ribs at the bottom of your shoulder blades, down through your sides. One more breath in. Exhale, bend your knees and jump. Last round. Inhale, lift halfway and fold. Extended mountain pose, reach up, stretch back, fold to the floor. Inhale, lift halfway, low plank. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. We're bringing in a balance of opposites. Stretching balanced by strengthening and supporting. 2 more breaths. This will be the last one. Inhale. When you exhale, get ready. Move to your hands. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Chair pose. We're going to rest here for a little bit. Once you get into your chair pose, have a look down at your knees and feet. You can work with them together, but hip width distance is a nice spot too. Line your knees up over your middle toes. Sit deep into the creases of your hips. Create cactus arms with your arms. We'll work on our upper back again a little bit more. Take a breath in. As you exhale, round, open, make the cobra snake upper back. Bring your forearms together. Then inhale, pass your chest through your arm bones and forward. Sink your shoulder blades together behind you. Bring that back and forth and concentrate on getting as much malleability in your thoracic spine. When your arms are together, it's moving out of your body. When they're open, it's moving in and through your body. 3 more times. You discover it, however it's occurring for you. Take your last 2. Good. When you finish your last one, return to the open position, thoracic spine melting through. Then reach your arm bones up, look up. Fold to the floor as you exhale. Lift halfway. Move to the chaturanga as you exhale. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Step your right foot forward for warrior 1. Lunge, arms overhead. Let's breathe here. Set your drishti, your attention, your eyes just on one spot in the room. Once your drishti is set and your breath is flowing, bring your felt sense attention to your feet. Anchor the 4 corners of both of your feet, particularly the back edge of your back foot into the mat, and then lunge deep into your legs until you feel a heat building in your legs. Until you feel it's necessary to breathe because of the heat building in your legs. Deep, deep lunge. On your next inhale, reach up, look up, hands to the floor for chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Let's take the left side. Step forward and bring your breathing. Set your drishti. Set your feet, your foundation. Bring the heat into your legs. Once you have all of that with your arms, rotate your palms and baby fingers toward one another. Straighten your elbows until from your fingertip down to your hip crease, you feel a line of stretching all the way through. Fingertips to hip creases. You feel it light up. 2 more breaths to just feel what you feel. This is the last one. Reach up through your pinky finger, hands to the floor, chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Now take a deep breath in, open up your mouth, stick out your tongue and sigh. 2 more, just let go and clear out with a sigh. This is the last one, then we'll move. Inhale, exhale, bend your knees, move up to your hands and let's flow. Halfway lift, forward fold, chair pose, sit, reach, fold to the floor. Halfway lift, low plank. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog, right foot forward, lunge. Inhale, lift up, get the stretch. Hands to the floor, chaturanga. Ride the wave of your breath. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. It's going to get messy. Left foot forward lunge. Inhale, reach. Hands to the floor, chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Breathe. Use the practice to wake up every corner of your body, every cell. 2 more breaths. Feed your body with your breath. Get ready. Last one. When you exhale, bend your knees. Jump to your hands. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Chair pose. Sit. Reach. Fold to the floor. Half lift. Low plank. Discover each pose through your breath. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Right foot forward lunge. Lift from your feet to your pinkies. Hands down. Chaturanga. Empty. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Left side step. Reach. Stretch. Breathe. Hands down. Chaturanga. Empty. Up dog. Downward facing dog. Now feel how it is for you right now, how your body seems, the practice seems. Check in with your intention and create this downward facing dog newly, like you haven't even been in one yet today. Get ready for our last round of sun salutation B. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, bend your knees, jump to your hands. Halfway lift, forward fold. Sit in the chair, hips to pinkies, stretch, fold to the floor. Halfway lift, low plank. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog, right foot lunge, warrior 1. Reach up, lift the pit of your belly high, hands down, chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog, left foot forward, lunge deep. Then lift the pit of your belly so you pull up out of your lower back, hands down, chaturanga, empty. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Now, watch the wall if you're close to it. Raise your right leg into the air behind you. Bend your knee, heel to your hip. Pause for a moment and melt your right hand into the mat. Lift your right knee into the air. Stretch your whole side body open with a breath. Then flip over 2 feet on the floor. Land your feet on the ground. Let them melt into the mat below you. Steady, steady breathing. Now, from your right knee all the way through your right body to your fingers, stretch those 2 points in different directions. The crease of the right knee, the right fingertips, 2 different directions, and breathe into the space. Feel that? 1 more breath. Come to a high plank. Just the high plank. Come out into your high plank. Dial your pelvis from belly spilling to the floor. Pull it in until you lift the pit of your belly and your hips are light, like shoulder height. Turn your toes under and point your toes. You got it. Right here, we'll just hold this, shoulders over your wrists. Breathe here for 5 breaths. Dial your pelvis so the pit of your belly is coming in and up. 4 breaths. 3 breaths. Just checking out at the pit of the bellies. 2 breaths. There you go. Downward facing dog. Isn't that amazing? Take a deep breath in and a breath out. Let's do the left side. Watch the walls. Left leg in the air. Still want you to kick your heel into the wall. Bend your knee. Open your hips up. Let your left hand melt down into the ground. Lengthen through the whole left side of your body. Breathe into the space you're creating on the left long side of your body. 1 more breath here. Flip the pose over. Land as softly as you can. 2 feet on the ground. Now the crease of the left knee and the left hand, pull those 2 points apart. There you go. Breathe into all of the space in between knee crease and hand. Ask the whole side of your body to open up. 1 more breath. Pit of the belly strong. Float back over high plank. Once you get to your high plank, turn your toes under. So you're pointing your toes and the pit of your belly is lifting by the effect of pressing your palms into the ground, your handstand arms. Then you can just work with your upper back. Breathe in. Exhale, melt your chest through your arm bones. Press and lift it up through your arm bones. Try that 3 times. You can put your knees on the ground to modify this. Keep your hips light, up at shoulder height, downward facing dog. Stretch back. One more breath here. Step your right foot forward for crescent lunge. Arms overhead, stand up in your pose. Bring your goalpost cactus arms out. We'll work with the upper back again. Move your chest through and then bring it out the back. Bring your forearms together 3 times. Moving the upper body, your thoracic spine into your shoulder blades and out, bringing malleability. After you finish the third one, bring your hands together at prayer position and twist. Bring your left arm to your right knee. You can always bring your back knee to the mat if that's best in your practice. Once you get into the pose, elbow to your knee, organize a little bit. Activate your back leg. Press your left elbow into your knee and stretch the 2 sides of your rib cage long, especially the left side. And then once you have that length with your elbow and your knee, melt your thoracic spine into your shoulder blades like you've been practicing. You got it. Any arm variation you want. 3 more breaths. 1. That's it. Side ribs long. 2. Here's your last one. Yes. Inhale. Twist. Crescent lunge. Warrior 2. Settle into your feet and breathe. Back foot, you can angle it in. So heel out a little bit further. That's it. Roll your front thigh open. That's it. So your knees right over top of your toes. Deep, deep lunge. Now flip your front palm up. Reverse the warrior and stretch this whole right side of your body long. Feel it from your hip crease through to your armpit, through to your fingertips. Another breath and stretch. Maybe straighten your front leg. Get a quick breather on your legs. Yep, you can take it the way Angie is. Reach for your wrist and stretch it even further. Then open up, warrior 2. Keep all this length in your ribs and tilt for extended side angle. If you can, reach for the floor or a block rather than resting on your knee. If you need to rest on your knee, then you do that. Whatever variation you're taking, keep sinking the crease of your hip deep and lengthening the side of your right body. Now, the last thing, it's going to take some pit of the belly to keep this out of your lower back. That's it, Kate, right there. One more breath in, one more breath out, hands to the floor, chaturanga. That pose is something else, isn't it? Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Now you've done a lot of something on one side of your body and not the other side. Feel how it is for you right now. It's a promise of things to come. I don't know. It used to be in this sequence of poses, I would feel like, oh my gosh, this is hard. And then I realized, oh my gosh, at the end, I'm going to feel amazing. And you've got that on one side right now. Crave it on the other side. And step your left foot forward. Crescent lunge. So you stand on the ball of your back foot. Hips square to the front of your mat. Little more intermediate. Oftentimes we'll look around the room and we'll see this kind of like belly melt. Pull the pit of your belly into your body, this low front of the pelvis, pit of the belly. Cactus arms, and you get to work with the upper back again. Breathe in, and then exhale, round, forearms together. Open up. Feel how it infects your whole body. 2 more. Last one. Take your goalpost arms, just a little bit of housekeeping here. Your back foot, bring weight into your baby toe. So your right, a little bit more like that. Yep, that's it, Connor. So your right hip comes forward. Hands to prayer position, over towards your mom with your heel lock, Lynn. Hands to prayer position, and we'll twist. So Tim, there. Elbow to your knee. Get your breath flowing. Now stretch the 2 sides of your body long, particularly the right. A little more intermediate, you might want to think about pulling your left hip back and unsinking your right hip. There you go. Long right side body. You'll notice a lot of pressure from your elbow, your right elbow and your left knee. You'll have to press your left big toe into the ground. Now you breathe and melt your thoracic spine into your chest. Long right body. 3 breaths to take any variation. Open your arms, half bind, full bind. Here we go. Breathe in, breathe out. 2 more. Breathe in and out. Stay with it. Last one. Let your body surrender to the pose. Crescent lunge. Warrior two. Maybe take a sigh and shake it off a little bit. Let it go. Point your front knee and your front big toes straight ahead, both in the same direction. Flip your left palm up, reverse the warrior. So get into this pose now. Deep crease in your hip, but stretch your side body just like that. When you're stretching your left side body, are you becoming aware of how much lift you need on your right side body not to collapse? Where's that lift come from? The pit of your belly. Just draw it in right there. Straighten your front leg, reach up and go back. Warrior two to extended side angle. There it is. Bend your front knee. Draw the pit of your belly into your body and up to your chin. Any arm variation. Last 2 breaths. Commit to a strong pit of the belly. Yep. Strong pit of the belly. So you have a long left side. Yes. Hands to the floor for chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Take just 1 breath in. A full breath out. Look forward. Move up to your hands. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Open your feet as wide as your mat so you make the sides of them parallel to the sides of your mat. Reach your hips way back into a bear squat. That means your ribs will be between your thighs. You can reach forward. You could take cactus arms where you're really concentrating the back of your elbows to the ceiling. You could reach back if that feels best in your body. Not looking for round bodies, looking for long bodies. So if you have to bring your chest up a little bit, you could do that. Thoracic spine just melting through to the floor. Pit of the belly to support the back. 2 more breaths, more pit of the face up. More pit of the belly. Yep. Last one. Forward fold. So good, right? Leave your fingertips on the ground. Hook your right fingertips around your right big toe. Your left hand could be on a block. Lean your weight into your left foot. And if it's there for you, lift your right foot into the air. Keep holding onto your big toe. Keep your breath flowing. Breathe 5 breaths. Your foot might not lift up today, and that's okay. 4 breaths. You got it. Stay with it. Eyes on one spot. 3. Stay with it. Heel to the ceiling. 2. Last 1. Bring your foot to the floor and shake your hips out. Switch sides. Go right to it. You need to shake your right leg behind you a little bit and release your hip. You can do that. Left side. 5 counts here. Get in on this breath. Even here, you can be allowing your thoracic spine to sink through your chest. Stay with it. Last ones. Last one. Foot on the floor. Shake your hips out. Turn your toes open and take a goblet squat. I think that's a good idea, Megan. I should have gotten that for you. I'm going to bring some blocks around to make sure you all have some. Go ahead. I'll grab a few more. Sometimes I like to shift the weight all into one heel and rest there for a beat. Sometimes into the other and just rest there for a beat. Come on up out of that goddess squat. I'm going to keep a couple here in case we need 2 for somebody in a bit. Chair twist. Feet together or set them under your hips. Knees still over top of your middle toe. Sit back. Hands to prayer, and you can twist. Left elbow to your right knee. You have an option to take a variation where you squat down with your hips down near your heels, elbow still taking the twist. I think it's easier to sink my hips here and get the 2 sides of my body long. You could develop the pose from here to a side crow pose or a side scissors pose. Up to you. Whatever you're choosing. We'll take 5 more breaths. In all variations, lengthen the 2 sides of your waist, both of them equally. In all variations, let your thoracic spine melt through your chest. Yes. Now breathe and expand your chest and upper back. Finish your last breaths, then take the chair pose and forward fold. Hook your big toes with your middle and index fingers and stretch your chest down to the ground. Let your head just hang down heavy. Let your heels just sink heavy into the mat below you. Once your heels have sunken like that and they're anchored, you can bring your hips just a little more forward toward your toes. Bring in intensity from your heels up the back of the legs to your lower back area, across the back of your pelvis. Now you have some learning on board. Release your toes. Put your fingertips on the floor in front of you or on a block. Keep your big toes in one line. Maybe you're ready to progress onto trying this with your flat handstand, hands on the ground. Lift your right foot to the right. High as it'll go. So you're not holding on anymore. And you should see those toes out of the corner of your eye. Default to your toes more forward than they are back. Breathe here. That's it, Angie. Bring them forward. 2 more. You got it, Kristen. Lift it high. Foot on the floor. Why don't we take that leg right behind you? Put your knee on the ground. 2 hands on your left thigh. Just press down and look over your left shoulder. That's got to feel good. Sam's like, I'm not coming back here again. Why did I come to this place? Who are these people? Okay, that's enough rest. Come back up, forward fold. You know you got the other side. Some of you that are feeling a little bit more like you've seen this and you're like, that's an old trick, put your flat hands on the ground. Lift your left foot up to the left. Yeah, that's it, Connor. Yes, active toes. Foot very forward, Ruby Lou. Bring your toes forward. 2 more breaths. Lift it as high as it'll go. Bring your foot to the ground. Step your left leg back. 2 hands to your right thigh. Just stretch and look over your right shoulder. You got it. Lift the pit of your belly. So no, like, melt and rest your belly on your front thigh. Lift it. Good. Hands to the floor. Come forward into your forward fold. We have another chair twist to go. Sit back, reach your arms forward, hands to prayer, twist to the left. Know that you can squat down and anchor your elbow outside of your knees and twist to the left. You could take the side crow pose, the side scissors. So feel this sway. That's always a double check for you right there. Melt your thoracic spine. Melt your thoracic spine to, yes. Whichever pose you've chosen, 3 more breaths. This can settle in. This can get long. Yep, there you go. 2 more. Come over to the center, Laura. Last one, melt your thoracic spine. Reach up to the chair. Forward fold. Hands on 2 blocks or the floor. Try for the flat hands. Your right leg can get ready out to the right. So you know now it's not behind you. Big toes are in one line. Now you're just tapping your foot 5 times, as high as it will go, and tap. So reach to your toes and tap. Your foot should be the most active part of this. Go 5 times, 4 times, 3, 2, 1. Bring it down. Shake your hips out. We need a relief pose, or can we do the other side? Let's do the other side. Hands on the floor. Lift your left leg up. Tap it 5 times. Be so aware of the sensation in the tip of your toe as it touches the floor, lifts in the air, and connects again. Finish your last ones. Foot on the floor. Feels like a goddess squat would be nice. Toe heel your feet open and sit down. Unfavorite poses become favorite poses somehow. Somehow it's like that. Nestle down there low in this goddess squat. Like, get your knees outside of your armpits. Press away with your upper arms and put your hands wide as your mat. Tilt forward. Take a wide leg crow pose. Now really grip the floor with your fingertips. Powerful hands into the mat. Once you get your powerful hands into the mat, squeezing, we'll take 5 breaths here. Get ready. Inhale. As you exhale, press the floor with your first breath. Keep on going. As you take the exhales, let your upper back round like the cobra snake. 2 more. You can do this. On this last one, look forward, crawl your legs back one at a time to chaturanga. Or belly flop. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Yes, you've just done some big stuff. Stretch out and breathe. We're looking for a little bit more strength in the core, in the front of the pelvis and the sides of the pelvis to keep you more stable and powerful. more protected in places like your lower back and ready for new things. One breath in, one breath out, look forward, move up to your hands. Halfway lift, forward fold, come all the way up to standing and sweep your arms overhead. One set, right side eagle pose. Wrap your right arm under, squat, right legs over. If your tendency is to let your belly spill forward, draw it in and make sure the sides of your body are long. That you sit down and from your hip creases on the sides up through to your armpits to the tips of your ears, your body is long. Step out, switch sides. Left arm under, left leg over. Keep your breath flowing and your eyes on one point and continually just let go with each exhale. Especially if your attitude starts getting in the way of your practice being an experience of discovery, that can happen. One more breath here. Step out, arms overhead. Then place your hands like they're going into your back pockets so that your hands are on the back of the bony plate of your pelvis. Bring your right knee into your chest. So you feel yourself standing tall and maybe your arm wings can move back. Breathe in. As you exhale, press your right heel forward. Inhale, bend your knee. Exhale, press your heel forward. Stand tall. Inhale, bend your knee. Exhale, press your heel forward. Stay tall. 5 pulses. Toes to the ceiling for 1. Stay tall. 2. Lift the pit of your belly. 3, 4, 5. Hug your knee into your chest. Flip your hands over. Back of the hands now in your pockets. Arm bones back. Lift up tall. Take a breath and feel the front of your belly pull into the back of your hands. Get that place where your body's long and lean. Now keep that sensation. Breathe in. And as you exhale, reach back to the airplane. Keep pulling the pit of your belly into the back of your hands. Into the back of your hands, away from the floor. You got it. Lots of support from the pit of your belly. No swaying now in your lower back. All the support. Hands to prayer. I saw that, Tim. Good change there. Hands to prayer, half moon. Left hand down, right arm in the air. You still want the pit of your belly. You still want it to give you the neutral pelvis that lets your whole lower back melt open. You got it, right like that. 2 more breaths. Last breath. Forward fold and hang. Sway from side to side. Take your time. Roll up to standing. Once you're standing tall, organize your feet. Parallel to one another, hip width distance, hands in your back pockets. Left knee into your chest. Breathe. Set your eyes on one point. Feel whatever it is that it takes to stand into the knuckle of your big toe. Little softness maybe to the back of your standing knee. Breathe in. Exhale, press your left heel forward, but pull your hips back into your palms. Inhale, bend your knee. Exhale, press your heel forward. One more time, bend. Press your heel forward. Stay right there. 5 times, toes to the ceiling. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bend your knee. Flip your hands so that they're shoved down in back pockets. Pull the pit of your belly in so the back of your hand and pit of the belly feel like they're coming together. Pause and feel that feeling. How long and lean it is. Keep all that. Move into your airplane. You got it. Breathe and discover what it is to be supported by your core. Can you feel the sense of the pit of your belly coming up into your body? Feel how your lower back, it's almost like a cautionary tale at first. Your back's like, are you sure? I always do this work for you. Good. A little more pit of the belly so your pelvis moves to neutral. Good, Janet. Hands to prayer. Exactly. Half moon, right hand down, left arm up. Breathe here. All that same support work you've been doing, use it to keep your pelvis neutral here. That's it, Sue. 2 more breaths. Do you feel that? That's so good. Last one. Forward fold and hang. Sway from side to side. We'll take 1 round of a standing back bend. Come rolling up to standing for standing bow pose. Your right arm, move it back behind you. Roll your forearm open so your palm faces out. So it's not shoulder forward, it's arm bone back. Bend your knee and hold your ankle. You can flex your kicking foot, bring your knees together. Left arm in the air, stretch. And then like you're pulling an arrow through a bow, you stretch the pose open. Stand on your standing foot's big toe. You've got it. Pull your arms apart. That's it. 3 more breaths. Drive your kicking foot up. Take an exhale and soften the whole pose. Step out, feet on the floor, eyes on one spot. Take your second side, left arm back, so your arm bone goes behind. Forearm open. Drive your knees straight back, different from out to the side, different from a little trip out to the side and then straight back, just straight back. And then see what there is to see. Pull your kicking foot back, and in response, reach your reaching hand forward. Equal and opposite. Take yourself to the peak of the pose for you. Stay in it. Stay discovering. Stay here. 3 more breaths. Right here on the other side of the peak, what does it take to stay? Last one. Come on out. Nice work. Let's get anchored inside of ourselves one more time. Left foot on the floor, right foot to your left inner thigh, back of your right hand to the inside crease of your right knee. And you put some pressure between the knee and your hand. Then lift your left arm up to the ceiling. With this pressure, use it to give you the pickup of the pit of your belly. That's it. From your ankles on the floor, up the sides of your body, make yourself so tall and long. You might look up to the ceiling. Reach up a little more until you feel like your fingertips are almost feeling the bars on the ceiling. And then just drag your fingertips across 2 or 3 of those bars. Let the 2 sides of your body open up as you breathe. 1 more breath. Let's switch sides. Right foot down, left foot up. So left foot to your right inner thigh, back of your hand to the inside knee crease. If you find that you get in this pose and you start bracing yourself with your bum back and your belly hanging forward, gather in the pit of your belly. Maybe use the pressure of your hand to help you gather it in. Then you reach. You take the time to feel that from your ankles up your sides, all the way up, you're equally tall and long. And then re-fortify it with the pit of your belly. Maybe just soften your shoulders and your skin. Stretch up and overhead. Breath by breath, you discover the pose. 1 more here. Step out, come to the front of your mat. Inhale, sweep your arms overhead, reach up, fold to the floor as you exhale. Halfway lift, chaturanga on the exhale. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog, right side triangle. Step your right foot inside of your right hand. A long stride. Anchor your front foot to the ground and make your front leg long. Breathe and make the 2 sides of your body long, and then turn and open the pose. That's it. Let the crease of your right hip sink back to the back of your mat. From that crease to your right armpit, make your side body long. There'll come a point when the only length left to gather there is to lift the pit of your belly, just like that. There, feel it? Breathe here, 2 more breaths. A little more pit of the belly. Last breath. Come on up to standing. Face the long left side of your mat, feet parallel to the short sides of your mat, hands on your hips. Lift up high, forward fold. Once you get all the way down here, walk your fingertips forward. You could put your flat palms on blocks, the floor, or your fingertips down and your arches lifting, and then sink the weight of your hips behind your heels. Let there be a sense of stretch from your pinky fingers up the side of your body to your hip creases. Breathe. Invite in more space between each one of your ribs. You can walk your hands back in and then tippy-toe them around to your front foot and drop your back knee to the ground. Lengthen your front leg, your right leg, toes to the ceiling. And then instead of having this sense of rolling open, have more of a sense of gathering in, your back hip coming forward, or feeling like your foot is hugging into the center line. You can put your palm here and give yourself an assist if that works for you. Your hands could be on the floor or on blocks. You could slide the pose more open. Many of you would like blocks under each hand. There are plenty of blocks. Many of you would like a block under your hip. Keep your back toes for now turned under. You got it. Breathe and let your body be active. Sides still long, even here. And then any variation you want for the next 3 breaths. 2 more. Last one. Hands to the floor, downward facing dog. Find your way to the downward facing dog from wherever you are, left side triangle. Keep your breath flowing. Start from your feet. Get the length in the sides of your body and take your triangle. You want to point your toes of your front foot straight forward. Wrap your thigh bone open at the hip so your knee points in that direction. Now down a micro bend. Yeah, so you can feel your big toe. You got it now. What's left is the pit of the belly. That's going to give you the extra bit of length in the left side. More from the pit of the belly. Here, you want a little more support so it doesn't come from here. 2 more breaths, really nice. More pit of the belly, last breath. Come on up to standing. Face the long right side of your mat. Hands behind your back, interlace them. Arm bones back, or you could use a strap. Lift your chest. Forward fold. Open your heels, Angie. Yeah. Let your hands just fall overhead with whatever the weight of gravity will offer. And then once your hands have spilled overhead, breathe into your back ribs. Keep letting your hands spill the way that they are and the sides of your waist be long the way that they are. Your feet steady. Turn your torso just a little bit toward your left foot. So it's like an unhinged twist. It's an unconnected twist. Switch to the other side. Long ribs, and then you turn. You just let your left ribs get a little longer. Yeah, that's it, Jody. Come back to the center. Release the bind, hands on the floor. Tippy toe your fingertips around to your front foot. Hanumanasana or half splits on this side. Back knee down. Straight front leg. I like to put my heel on a towel as cushion that will slide off of my mat. Let your heel slide forward. And then bring a block under your left hip for most of you. If you're ready to let your hands go off the ground, I would suggest a block under your hip. Some variations that you can take are you could put your own right palm in a self-assist, like we did on the other side, on the inner arch or calf muscle to just get a sense of your thigh hugging into the center line. If you feel really comfortable about that, you could take your fingertips behind you on blocks to the floor or interlace your hands and lift the pit of your belly in this split. You'll certainly want there to be some support under your hip while you do that. Yeah, that would work. Great. Nice, Laura. That's it. A little more belly lift, Connor. Give yourself this for this part of the pose. Now lift up, right up through here. Little more pit of the belly. Oh, there you go. Hands to the floor, downward facing dog. So good, right? Had a little bit of rest. Ready for something new. Or old that looks new. Come to a high plank. Shoulders over top of your knuckles or your fingertips. Point your toes behind you. Instead of your belly dialing forward, lift the pit of your belly up. You could always modify by putting your knees down. If you're up and you're ready for more, then you're tapping. 1, 2, you got it. Don't let the opposite side drop. 3, pit of your belly up so it's not hanging in your lower back. 4, 5, I think we need one more tap to be even. Downward facing dog. You can sort of see how you're going to develop some new core strength, can't you? Come to a high plank and lower down to your belly on the mat. I just want that for you, Kate. We'll take one set of locust pose any way you want to do it. Millions of variations. My personal favorite is to interlace my hands at my lower back and keep my toes turned under like I'm in a chaturanga. Lift the pit of the belly and get this kind of a stretch and opening. Start the training of my body to know that some back bends are coming, and I want the sides of my body as long as they can be. If you feel like there's some real gripping in your lower back, then you know that all that work you've been doing to get your pelvis neutral is gone back to its default. So from wherever you are, draw the pit of your belly in, let the back bend be a little less intense, a little longer, and come on down. One set of floor bow pose. Bend your knees, reach back, hold your ankles, kick back and kick up. Straight back, straight up. Breathe 5 breaths. 4 breaths. Maybe one with a sigh where you just really let go. 2 more. Last one, and come on down. Take upward facing dog through to downward facing dog. Stretch back. Just feel how it is in your body. Then jump through, sit down, and roll onto your back. Keep your block handy. We'll get ready for bridge pose. Take your first bridge pose, feet underneath of your knees, hip width distance, feet parallel to one another, press down and lift up. Once you get up into your bridge, tuck your shoulders under your back. Breathe here. While you're holding this bridge pose, lift all 10 of your toes in the air. Feel what the pose feels like. Feel the 4 corners of your feet, particularly the ball of your big toe, connecting to the mat, like it's melting down into the ground. Once it's melted, bring in the action of like you're sucking your feet together toward the midline. One more breath. Come on down, knees side to side. Now here's the one where you'll need your block handy. Come up into the bridge. Once you get into the bridge, your block will be in this medium long setting under your lower back. So I want to feel like it's supporting my pelvis, not the small of my back, my inward curve of my back. And I feel really like a lot of stretch through my quad muscles as I hold this. Get your shoulders under your body. Now get really connected to your feet. Organize your feet. Choose your feet. Once you have all that, put your attention on the pelvis and the pit of the belly. That's where the action's going to be. Keep it all balanced and level throughout the exercise, exactly the way it is right now, whatever that takes. Bring your right knee into your chest. Pause. What did that take? So your knees now shouldn't be flaring out to the sides. They should have a hugging in quality so your pelvis is level. Keep all that. Reach your right foot into the air. I feel like I have to really stretch long on my right side and gather on my left side. Now we're lowering. Bring your right thigh all the way down until it's parallel to your left thigh. I feel like I have to really hug in my left thigh and then bring it back up. You can do that 3 times. Lower to the length of your left thigh. Bring it back up. Feel what's happening in your abdominal strength. Take the last one. Bring it back up. Now listen. You're going to lower your right leg down past your left leg as far as it goes while you're able to keep your pelvis neutral. Stretch. Hold it there. Take a breath. Feel how it is. Then from your abdominal strength, breathe in, blow out, and lift that leg up. Knee into your chest, foot on the floor. We'll do the other side. Left knee into your chest, feet active. Left foot in the air. You know what we're doing now. Lower and lift. So you get the test run. Are you feeling like the weight's shifting all around in your pelvis? How can you keep it level and neutral throughout the movement? You have 3 of these now. Feel how it feels to raise and lower. After that last one, you should feel your big toe of your standing foot really anchored to the floor. Lower your left leg long and straight. Keep the pit of your belly strong. You'll get all the stretch in your quad and hip flexor. We've been using some of that today. Breath in, blow out, bring your leg back up. Knee into your chest, foot on the floor. Come out of this pose. Knees side to side. Is that one a new favorite? We'll take one wheel pose. Come up into your bridge. Set your hands. Some of you will choose to keep the bridge. Others just have to have a wheel. Press down and rise up. Breathe here, 5 breaths. Let the big toe of your feet melt down into the mat. Let the thumb side of your hands melt down into the mat and all of it hug into the center line. Finish your 5th breath and come on down for Supta Baddha Konasana. Soles of your feet together and knees open wide. When you're here, maybe take a breath with a sigh. And then dead bug pose. You can hug your knees into your chest, hold the outer edges of your feet, and pull your knees back to your shoulders. Little rocking side to side could feel good. Hug your knees into your chest and rock head to tail several times until you're coming up into a sitting position. You can stretch your legs out long and then like about hip width or a little bit wider distance. Move your sitting bones onto the floor. You could sit on something. You could bend your knees. There's going to be many variations here. Most intense, you're reaching out, fingertips are on either side of your ankle. Less intense, much less intense, less intense, less intense. Then this long leg is taking 5 pulses. You've done this a few times today, a few ways. You're lifting it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You like that one? I know. Shake it out. Switch sides. It might not lift today. You might be just getting the sense of a lift. Go up and down. 5. It just might be little like this. 4, 3. You got it. 2. Sit tall. 1. Shake it out. It's so good for you. Ready for the last one? You might get a little tiny bit wider. Most intense, less intense. Your hands are in the middle. So pick your spot. Make a long back. Ready? Lift 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Roll over and just stretch in an upward facing dog. You got it. From here, you can just turn your toes under, lift your hips up and back to downward facing dog, whatever direction you're facing. Take a right side pigeon pose. We won't be here for long. We did a lot of work for your low front core, the stabilizing sides of your hips. We did a fair amount of work to strengthen the opposite side of your lower back. Whether it was your low front core to include your hip flexors and even your quads. Let's switch sides to the other side of pigeon pose. That might have been new work for your body. Hopefully, what you feel tomorrow is a little bit of sensation in your low belly. You don't feel sensation in your lower back. And hopefully in time, if you usually feel all the time sensation in your lower back, hopefully that starts to go away and it feels more supported. Sit on your left hip, swing your right leg around. You can face any direction. Well, let's do it this way. Grab your block. If you have 2, you can use 2 blocks. It'll look like this. Grab one block and place the block between your thighs near your knees. Just hug it as tightly as you can. And then maybe you also want to squeeze a block. What we're going to do is roll down, and we're going to take like 10 counts to do it. Where most of us go wrong is we roll and we roll and we roll and our pelvis stays stuck, and now we end up in our lower back. So you're going to squeeze your blocks and pull your belly in and make the most C-shaped or ragdoll spine you can. And then you're going to put your spine on the mat one bone at a time. You just take your time. Hug that block between your knees. If you get to a critical junction, freeze, pull your belly in more, roll over your pelvis, more pit of the belly, more pit of the belly. Yes. That's it, Kate. Bend your knees more if you need to. More pit of the belly. Yes. All the way down. Nice. You could bend your knees, lift your hips, and put your flat block on the floor under your pelvis. Take waterfall pose. If you prefer, you can roll your feet overhead for plow pose. And I'm just offering you waterfall because I think it would feel really good right now. While you're in this pose, get to a place where you can be pretty still, like you've got it all sorted out physically. and use this as an opportunity to feel what you're feeling. Physically, emotionally, whatever it is. But you've done some new things in your body. Be there like a target for the results. Notice what it is that you created for yourself this morning, what you're experiencing from it, what you're left with. And then as you're breathing, allow yourself to melt, to let go. If you're in the shoulder stand, come to the plow and bring yourself toward the death yogi pose. Get toward the finishing poses here. And then for everyone, make your way onto your back, being flat on your mat from wherever you are. Long body. Once you've made it to your flat back, then hug your knees into your chest. Drop your knees to the left with a block between them. Turn and look to the right. Once you get set up in this simple twist, take a deep breath in and have a sigh. As you're breathing and sighing and letting go, really let go. Let go of anything that's left, any place you're holding on physically, holding your body up. Anything that's calling your attention right now, just let it go. Take one more breath with a sigh, and then switch sides. Use your breath as a tool, a pathway to the possible results that are waiting for you. Sometimes it helps your breath get to more doing, and often what it has to offer is to allow for more letting go. Onto your flat back for Supta Baddha Konasana. Let your pelvis be settled on the mat, your shoulder blades, feel. Create your body in a way that you are supported. Maybe take a sigh here and let go. And then from whatever there is available to you right now, discover your Shavasana. Stretch your legs long and wide and your arms long and wide. Look for and feel for what would be the best pose right now for you to let go, drop in, and be fully alive in your skin in this moment for this Shavasana. Let your breath soften. Let the poses between the inhales and the exhales drop away so that one inhale rolls into the exhale softly. Your everyday breath, trained and informed now by your Ujjayi breath. Let it be easy. I'll share a reading with you called Let Life Reveal Itself to You. You don't have to strain. Trying to get your revelation. The guidance, the inspiration, the awareness you need will come to you. The way we're living now from the heart is much easier than the way we've lived before. Sometimes it's so natural. We might not understand what's happening. We may even be uncomfortable at first with how easy it is. We find ourselves straining to lift a heavy bowling ball when what we have to pick up is only a ping pong ball. And then we wonder why. It feels so light. We may question whether there's something wrong because it feels so different. Just because your life feels lighter doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. In your next step, the answer to the question you've been mulling about, the direction for the next stage of your growth, where you will live next, what you need to do next about work, money, or the problem you've been struggling with. It'll come. If you're fussing and straining, you may not hear it. Don't worry about getting all of your answers or your agenda for the years ahead. This is not how this progress works. In order to participate in this more magical way of life, trust. Trust that all you need to know will be revealed to you when it's time. Relax. You are on a journey of discovery. Let life reveal itself to you. Begin to deepen your breathing. Bring some movement to your fingers and your toes. Maybe stretch your arms overhead. Roll your head from side to side. Bring your knees into your chest and roll to one side or the other. Come up to a sitting position. Arrange yourself to be comfortable. And stretch your arms overhead. Bring your hands to rest in prayer position at the center of your chest and take a moment and internal listening, feeling what you feel, experiencing the experience you have created through your practice. And become aware of whether there is an intention waiting for you to set for the rest of your day, a North Star to guide you through all the interactions in the rest of your day. If it's there, set an intention. And then one more time, we'll chant together to complete our practice. Take a deep breath in. Thumb knuckles to the center of your forehead. Take a deep breath in. Exhale. Namaste. Good work. Thank you all for being here. I'll be back here with you Thursday morning, 9:15. If you're going to join me, raise your hand. See you on Thursday. Good. Get yourself signed up. I look forward to seeing you. Maybe I'll practice next to you tomorrow. Have a great rest of your Tuesday. I look forward to seeing you on Thursday. Enjoy. Whoa. So borrowed blocks can go on the floor over here or spray them. There's mat spray there. Laundry is just out by the front desk.